the funny thing was, right before the person transferred the money to me, like she grabbed my hand and she was saying like, whatever you do, don't put it into Bitcoin.
Oh, shut up, really?
Yeah. Like I didn't say anything about crypto. I didn't say anything about Bitcoin. And still she said like, yeah, don't put it into Bitcoin. And I think she also mentioned like if it's more than 10K you will invest into something, like don't transfer more than 10K at once, because yeah, like Brussels or the central bank will start asking questions. And yeah, it was a bit more than 10K, and the same night I just put it into Bitcoin.
Keep 'em cold till I'm old. I don't plan to blow my load. Wallet so blue, if you know, you know. It's better than bonds, better than gold. Finna reap up what I sow. Fiat money can't keep up, it gets sold. How many times you been told? DCA's the way to go. Higher highs, higher lows. Every year my network grows. Every day my network grows. Running relays, running nodes. Yeah. Dollar a day's a minimum. Stats, zap sats. Any fear I get, flipping them.
So can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, I'm HODL Harry. I'm a humble pleb from Belgium.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what else I should say.
You're also into memes, and we met on Nostr.
Yeah.
You've got a bid axe.
And I'm doing carnivore. I'm quite
yeah.
I'm quite a toxic maximalist.
Oh, okay. So before we get into toxic maximalism, which is actually a topic that I really like to explore, let me know. So how did you actually come across Bitcoin?
It's actually a long story. Like, I'll try to keep it short. I didn't finish high school, and I always had some issues trying to find a decent job. And I was, a few years ago, I went to Indonesia to marry my girlfriend at the time, and to start our own business. And yeah, things were in the beginning going quite good, but then after a while it was getting a bit harder and a bit of a struggle.
With the business or with your girlfriend, wife?
Yeah, both.
Both? Oh, dear.
And then I decided to come back to Belgium. But at the time, my best friend was into crypto. And he was constantly telling me, like, instead of doing my business, I should put my money into Bitcoin. Luckily, he wasn't saying ETH or any other cryptos. And like, I knew he was serious about it. And then when I came back to Belgium to work, suddenly I had like a knee injury. And it was around that time my best friend, he was saying he was going all in with Bitcoin. And because I had nothing to do, I was like, yeah, guy, I know a lot about scams, so I'm going to show you how you will lose your money because Bitcoin is a scam. And I think like 3 months later, I went to the bank and to get a loan to buy Bitcoin.
I hope the price, what was the fiat price of Bitcoin when you
I think
got a loan?
29,000 euro.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was quite a good price. And yeah, it's all been going up from there actually. Like it did cost me my marriage because my wife
dear.
at the time, my wife at the time was like, yeah, you said you were going to Belgium to work and now you're getting a loan to buy Bitcoin. And yeah.
HODL Harry. Okay, so I had one direction in mind in doing this podcast, but I feel like you've opened a whole can of worms. And since you have direct experience with leverage and a marriage that didn't work out as a consequence, and if you're comfortable, of course, I'd love to explore this topic a bit more. So actually, I think it was Julian Lininger from Relay. He posted a tweet a few days ago about whether it's a good idea for an individual to take on leverage in order to buy Bitcoin. And so I saw that, and it triggered an experience that I had meeting a woman whose husband had done that. And my reply was, if you don't have any responsibilities like children or like a mortgage or like high rent payments or anything, knock your socks off, because you know what I mean? Like, you can live in your car, or you can go back and like live with mommy and daddy if necessary. However, if you do have additional obligations, like I just mentioned, it may not be a good idea. And why do I say this? So I don't touch leverage. I'm not smart enough to time the market and whatever. But a few years ago, I think it was in 2022, I met a woman. And of course, I mentioned Bitcoin in the conversation, as I do less now, but it's something that I've always done. And she tore my head off, and I was like, whoa. And so she explained to me that her husband took on leverage because he thought that he could play the game correctly, and most importantly, he thought he could time things properly, but he didn't have sufficient like cash flows in order to repay the interest and then the principal, and it caused a lot of problems. Their relationship, unfortunately, did not work out. The kids don't appreciate him, and so I'm like, whoa. So you're mentioning this, and I'm like, this is something that I would like to know more about. Like, what is it actually like? How do you cover like interest payments?
Yeah, I just did the calculations for myself, what my expenses were, and yeah, I just figured if Bitcoin only doubles once, I'm already in profit. And I spent so much time learning about Bitcoin that I was quite sure. I'm like, yeah, this is the future. It's an easy win actually. But for people that don't know about it, it's like, yeah, they don't understand.
Yeah, because you have to negotiate, well, the terms of your loan. I'm assuming you did. So, like, was it like a consumer loan? Was it a business loan? Without like sharing, I guess, too much that could get you in trouble. But how, like, concretely, how did it work?
The thing was, I took out a personal loan, which is quite a high interest. But I was so confident in myself and in my knowledge that I didn't really care about it. Like, the whole experience applying the loan in the bank was also quite funny, because when you get a personal loan, you don't really need to give a reason why you're getting it. And I also didn't want to tell the banks that I'm gonna buy Bitcoin with the loan. So the funny thing was, when I was getting it, yeah, they kept asking me for a reason. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have to give a reason normally. And they were like, yeah, but it's okay, you don't have to give a reason. But still, they kept asking like 2-3 times. And I'm like, yeah, is an investment a reason? And she was like, yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, put on investment then. But the funny thing was, right before they the person transferred the money to me, like she grabbed my hand and she was saying like, whatever you do, don't put it into Bitcoin.
Oh, shut up, really?
Yeah. Like, I didn't say anything about crypto. I didn't say anything about Bitcoin. And still she said like, yeah, don't put it into Bitcoin. And I think she also mentioned like, if it's more than 10K, you will invest into something. Like, don't transfer more than 10K at once, because yeah, like Brussels or the central bank will start asking questions. And yeah, it was a bit more than 10K, and the same night I just put it into Bitcoin.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So in Belgium, like literally Brussels will look into investments or transfers above 10K on the retail level.
That's what she told me. I cannot say for sure, but I think they will.
Wow. Because, I mean, that's not that much. I mean, you know, on the greater scheme of things, I'm sure it would cost more money to have a bureaucrat look into your dossier for 10K, then you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem.
I think she just was trying to scare me or something.
It
Because
worked.
I've had no issues so far, and I hope it stays like this.
So then, in terms of interest and then paying back the principal, the question: did you sell any Bitcoin to do that, or does your like Fiat Life cover that?
My Fiat Life covers it, but when I got the loan, I just got orange pilled, so I was still a bit crazy, or I don't know how to describe it, because I was trying to tell my family and friends, like, yeah, this is something amazing. You gotta have a look at this. Like, my wife didn't want to listen to it. My family doesn't want to listen to it. My friends thought I was a fucking idiot. And I really couldn't handle it mentally. Like, the only one that understood me was my best friend, who was also all in with Bitcoin. And then, I went to Indonesia to try to save my marriage and to explain to my wife, like, this is a good thing for our future. And that conversation didn't end well. And I was really at the point, like, why did I do all of this? Why did I do so much effort if nobody is supporting me in this? Like, I was on the edge of being suicidal, and I was like, yeah,
Oh
fuck
no.
it. I'm in Indonesia. At least if I want to off myself, I can still have a good time before I do this. So I was selling a lot of Bitcoin to stay in Indonesia for several months. And yeah, luckily I met some two other Bitcoiners, like Dea Riskita and her husband Brad. And yeah, and those two gave me the passion to follow Bitcoin more and to help teach other people. So the funny thing is, I have actually two loans now in Bitcoin, but I spent like 80% of my first loan, so I almost spent everything just to have a vacation, so to say. But yeah, it really humbled me and made me work on myself. Like, becoming a whole coiner was the easiest thing I ever done, except for the learning about Bitcoin. But then holding it was one of the hardest things at the time.
Yeah, definitely. It is. It's really difficult to hold on to it and to to really take a step back and kind of see what's happening before like jumping back into the action and doing a bunch of things. And what you say about like that feeling of being lonely when it clicks in your head is very real. And I think of a lot of people, myself included, experience that in real life because, you know, in my situation, I've heard so many people complaining about financial inequality, about inflation, about, you know, the bank's done this, the bank has done that. Why am I paying these fees? And so it's like, I hear that and I'm programmed to look for solutions instead of complaining all the time. I hate complaining all the time. Like, I need to find a way out, or just I'm not going to think about it until there's a solution, you know?
Yeah.
And so when Bitcoin clicked for me, I'm like, guess what? You know when you said like this happened and that happened, well, if you start saving in Bitcoin or if you learn about Bitcoin in a few years, you won't have that problem. And I was so shocked and really disappointed to see that actually maybe they didn't want a solution. And more than that, they're like, shut up about Bitcoin already. Like, stop talking about it. And that feeling of like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, I thought, you know, these were like real friends. I thought that, you know, something we shared in common was to improve our lives, but it turns out no. And so like you find yourself, like when I first started, I would set up different wallets and just send transactions to myself because I didn't really know anyone. And I was still very nervous about going out there and meeting people online. I listened to podcasts and stuff, but it's a lonely, especially in the beginning, it's a very lonely experience.
Yeah, I can say it's still a bit lonely. I'm just grateful we have Nostr now.
Yeah. So you're not active on X at all? You're 100% Nostr?
I used to have a X account, but I never had any valuable interactions.
Yeah.
And yeah, as soon as I heard Elon Musk was buying Twitter, I was like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah, he's quite the character.
Yeah, for me, I really cannot stand the guy. Like he's one of the biggest scammers and liars and charlatans in history, and people, I don't know why people don't realize that.
Because he's got a big halo around him. So I'm probably not going to post this episode on X because I feel as though their algorithm sort of feels for anything that's negative about Elon. And the other thing too is that I've noticed that accounts that post about Bitcoin seem to be getting less and less engagement. And like one question I had a few episodes ago is why doesn't Elon post or speak more about Bitcoin? He's surrounded by the entire Trump team. They're very clear on what they want to do. He has opinions on Europe, how, in Germany, what the government should be, in South Africa, in the US, it's his opinion. But I mean, if he's so vocal and if he cares so much about that, why doesn't he talk about Bitcoin? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, for me, I really think he's like a government puppet or a government plant, like a useful idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that.
Hey, that's just my opinion on it.
Yeah, I've heard that theory before. So you started off with Bitcoin, you took out loans, the loans have worked out, you're not wrecked or anything. Unfortunately, your marriage did not make it. Now, fast forward a few years, the Bitcoin price is a lot higher. Has your wife or your ex-wife reached out to you to say, oh, maybe there was something to what you were saying?
Yeah, the funny thing is, I think a few months ago, I saw her online on, I think, Telegram or something else, and I messaged her, like, guess I was right about Bitcoin. And she instantly blocked me. I'm like, yeah, okay, then.
Well, that may not have been the best approach. I guess I was right.
Yeah, I did it for the laughs.
A little bit of charm school, like a smooth kind of, I
Yeah,
was,
yeah, the thing was I couldn't handle the situation all too well, and maybe I still don't. I don't know. I would have expected a lot more support, or at least a listening ear. But yeah, she always dismissed it right away.
Yeah. I'm, it's tough for me personally as a woman to speak to other women about Bitcoin. I don't know what it is. I don't know why the barrier is so big. Luckily, within the Bitcoin space, I've met a lot of women through Bitcoin, and so that's a lot easier. But in sort of real life world, as soon as I mention Bitcoin, it is like there's a block that goes up. And I don't know if it's because with their significant others, there's some kind of like conflict that's already going on, like I don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But again, like I go back to what I was saying earlier, I hear a lot of women who claim to be feminists and they want equal rights and they want whatever. And I'm like, well, instead of focusing on trying to change other people, why not learn about Bitcoin so that you can, you know what I mean? Like empower yourself, and there's no sale. It just doesn't fly.
Yeah, you could say it's maybe like nature, like men are, how do you say? They're a bit more logical or a bit better. Yeah. like, like usually like problem solving things is more like a man's thing instead of women. But I also notice like I have a lot of guy friends who also don't get Bitcoin and don't want to hear about it. So yeah, it's just if yeah, people need to have curiosity. Like if they're not
Yeah.
curious about things, like it will never happen, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably what it is. I hear that too a lot, that men are more logical than women. And then I'm like, does that mean I'm a man? Like,
And
am I some sort of iteration of some kind of
it is all,
genderism that I'm not aware of?
yeah, there's always exceptions, so I guess you're one of the exceptions, maybe.
Nice save. That was a good
Yeah.
save. So tell me more about memes then. So you learned about Bitcoin. You took out the loans. Your marriage didn't work so well. How did the memes come about?
Was mainly because of my best friend, because he was also starting to meme. Like in the beginning with Nostr, I think the first year I didn't post anything. I think I was just lurking and yeah, finding information. And yeah, when my friend started posting and memeing, he was yeah getting stats, and he was sometimes like showing off, like yeah, I got this amount of stats, and I was here like working my shitty job just to buy some more stats. So I was like, yeah, let me try this also, and yeah, it's been a good journey so far.
Yeah, totally. And you meme mostly, sorry, you meme mostly in English, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because in Belgium, do you speak French or is it Flemish or
Yeah, Dutch and French.
Dutch and French?
Yeah, yeah.
And so
Yeah,
no,
It,
go
I
ahead.
I also knew like most people in the Bitcoin community speaking English, and my English is also quite well, I would say, because yeah, my wife was Indonesian, so we had to talk in English all the time.
Yeah,
So it was kind of natural to do it in English.
yeah. Yeah, so something good came out of the marriage, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't all bad. You could practice languages.
Yeah, the
So,
thing is, I don't regret anything from my marriage. Like in some sort of way, I needed uh, bad things to happen to me so I could build myself up again. Like when you're at your lowest, like you can only go up. So yeah.
that is the truth. That is, and you know, doubling back to why people are interested in Bitcoin, maybe they haven't had those low points to like, I guess, give them some sort of insight into, you know, the power that is this tool called Bitcoin.
I always say pain is the best teacher.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're comfortable with your
Yeah.
fiat job and your life, you you don't really want to change it. Like
Yeah.
with me, I wasn't comfortable with my fiat life, and yeah, I really wanted to make a change in it.
Yeah. What made you most uncomfortable about your fiat life?
Just the bleak the bleak perspective from my future. Like I think the best thing that I could have achieved in my fiat life was maybe to buy a nice car, and that was it. I don't think it would be possible for me to buy a house, and yeah, I don't know. It's mainly that I think because it wasn't really looking all that positive. So I was like, I really need to make a change somehow. Like I tried a lot of things because I tried picking up like a craft, like trying to do plumbing, and I also invested some in stocks and a little bit in gold when I was in Indonesia, but I soon realized it's difficult to predict what the future will bring with all those things. Like with my stocks, I bought like two different stocks, and one I sold at 100% profit, which was quite good for a first time investing. But then my second stock, like it got rug pulled so bad, like I lost everything. So it was like a break even eventually. And then with the gold, I made a small profit because I kind of knew what I was doing, but I wasn't really comfortable putting my life savings into it. But then with Bitcoin, as soon as I realized what it was, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna put everything that I can into it.
And lift weights and eat meat.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing with Bitcoin. I was like, okay, my future is looking so bright right now, it's so positive, but my diet was shit, and I got quite fat when I was in Indonesia because I was eating a lot of crap.
Really? See, I when you like spoke about being in Indonesia, my mind like just went direct to you walking on the beach and like being outside and not necessarily working out, but just because you're walking and you're outside a lot, like you would naturally, not be fat.
Yeah, the problem with me was I was living in Jakarta, and
Okay.
I don't know if you know anything about Jakarta.
No.
Like there was a beach close by, but the water was so dirty and polluted. Yeah, you couldn't really swim in it, and uh, like it's also one of the most polluted cities in the world. Like I could see the smog just waving in the air, like
Oh,
it
no
was.
way.
Yeah, it's horrible. And yeah, with Bitcoin, I was like, yeah, Bitcoin can really fix all of this nonsense. But the thing is, I also the time when I was spending my Bitcoin, I was spending it mostly in Bali, and yeah, Bali is a lot better. Like there, I was spending time on the beach and going outside, but in Jakarta, no, no.
So when did you then transition to the carnivore diet and weightlifting?
I cannot really recall when. I think it was after I came back from Bali after spending so many of my Bitcoin. My my buddy was saying I should check out the Safety's podcast with Dr. Kate Shanahan
Oh, yeah, that came out. Was it a year or two ago? And she talked about the study where
with the seed oils.
with the seed oils. And is that the one with the teeth as well, where they examined diets of people all over the world? And they found that those who ate the most meat, be it on the African continent, I think Switzerland was cited as well, they had better teeth, more symmetric features. Was that the one?
I think they mentioned it in the podcast, but I'm not quite sure. For me, it was mostly because I was having inflammation from my work. And then after I quit my work and went to Indonesia for those months, I thought it would go away. But
Yeah.
I was suffering from it, from a tennis elbow for like 1.5 year. Like it never went away. And I was like, this is not normal. And then while watching the podcast, I came to I started thinking like if these seed oils are so bad and they give you inflammation, then yeah, maybe I have to quit eating stuff with seed oils in it. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try this carnivore or at least the no seed oil diet. But I was like, yeah, if I'm not gonna eat seed oils, yeah, there's not much left then to eat meat. And I think a week after I started the diet, my inflammation was gone. I felt a lot more positive mentally.
Wow.
I had a lot more energy. I lost weight. I was like, this is just so incredible. And yeah, I did. I from then till now, I had a few cheat moments, which I always regretted, but yeah, I don't regret doing the carnivore. I'm gonna stick to it.
So, what are seed oils exactly?
Oils made from plant seeds.
So, like, I
Like
guess
yeah,
canola
canola
or
oil, rapeseed oil, sunflower oil, like most oils.
what
Like
about
there's
olive oil?
I tried olive oil for a while, but then I heard like Safedine say like, yeah, if you look at the oils, like olive oil and seed oils in a lab, it's very hard to see the
Yeah.
difference. And I was like, yeah, why should I take the risk when buying olive oil? Like you never know what they put into it. So I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not gonna take the risk. I'm just gonna focus on animal-based products and butters and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, beef tallow is the truth. And I credit Safedine and also Mandrick. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's the guy who infamously made and sold, okay, I don't even know how to pronounce it, baklava's
Baklava.
cheese, baklava. Ooh.
Like the sweet pastry thingies.
Yeah, he
Uh,
sold it for Bitcoin many years ago, and it turned out to be like a very good sale, well, if he hodled the Bitcoin.
mhm.
But they were speaking about beef tallow, and as a woman, I'm always looking for the best lotions and creams, to keep my skin hydrated, to prevent wrinkles and stuff. And so I'm like, oh, okay, let me try beef tallow. So luckily, I live not too far away from a farm. And I went to the woman. They raise cows and buffaloes. And I said, like, I felt really weird asking the question, but I was like, I heard that beef fat, suif de boeuf, is really good for your skin. Can I get some, please? And she was like, oh, yeah, of course, way back in the day when the women would milk the cows, they would put it all over their hands to protect their hands, especially in the cold weather and stuff. So she hooks me up and it's really, really good. I cook with it. So when I get it in like a big block. And so I'll divide it in two. I'll cook with half of it, and then the other half I'll mix it and create like creams and stuff. Night cream, hand cream, everything. It is so, so good.
I'm actually happy that you mentioned beef tallow because I made my own just yesterday or the day before.
Congrats.
Do you want me to show it?
Yes, please.
Because I was planning to make soap from it, but I haven't gotten to that part yet.
Oh, beautiful. So when you got the beef tallow, did you melt it down in, so it's called in marie, I think. You know when you put it in like a pan and you have the boiling water underneath and it melts down, and then you take cheesecloth to filter out like the impurities and stuff?
Uh, do you mean au bain marie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do it like that. I just I got some fat from the butcher, and I just melted everything down, and then I strained it like 3 times.
Yeah.
I still need to strain it a few more times if I want to make soap from it, but if I want to use it for cooking, I think it's already okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheesecloth is pretty good for that because it's quite fine, and so it passes
Mhm.
through nicely. It picks up the impurities. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, thanks.
So, like, are you one of those guys who just, takes a shower and doesn't do anything, or do you actually apply like lotion or moisturizer to your face?
Uh, yeah, the funny thing is, I also recently made my own toothpaste with coconut oil.
Oh, wow.
And now sometimes a few minutes before showering, um, I rub my face in with olive oil, with
Coconut
coconut
oil.
oil.
See that? Okay, so Bitcoin. We'll just say increases your wealth. I won't say makes you wealthy, but it increases your wealth. It forces you to think about your diet. It, connects you to people who think outside of the mainstream pharmaceutical box. So you've cured your tennis elbow. You're doing very well for yourself. Your diet is improving. Your mental health is improving. That's quite the thing.
Yeah, I really, ever since finding Bitcoin, I tried to find a solution to every problem I have in my life. So with Bitcoin, I found the solution to save my value for my future. With Nostr, I found a real good connection with people all over the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Because it's a lonely road, but you still need to have some socialization. Like I'm very lucky. My best friend is into Bitcoin, but we cannot spend time together all the time. So yeah, that's why Nasser is so great. And then yeah, quitting the seed oils and doing the carnivore for health. And then with relationships, I found Patrice O'Neill. It was a comedian from several years ago,
Oh, okay.
and I learned a lot from him. And I don't know what the other part was, but those four are the most important ones, like your
Yeah.
finance, your connections, your health, and
Yep.
relationships.
Yep. So who's Patrice O'Neill? Hold on. Let me just look up Patrice O'Neill because I follow some things, but not everything. I'm also a mom, so like my time is very scarce. So this podcast is also an opportunity for me to socialize with other Bitcoiners, learn about new things, get book recommendations, recommendations with Tallow. Who knew? But let's look up Patrice O'Neill. Shout out to the Orange Manufacturing Group. They helped me with my logo design, and you know that I'll be ordering their premium hardwood sign and lightning keychain. Accessories are curated from a selection of durable traditional materials built to last. Use the Geyser Fund link in the show notes to take advantage of their trust minimal process. Or to save 5%, go to omg21btc.com. That's omg21btc.com and use code AAB21Q.
I do want to mention Jack Cruz also for health.
Jay Cruz?
Jack Cruz,
Who's
Uncle
that?
Jack.
Oh, okay. I need to look that up too. Jack Cruz.
Like that guy really took my health to a whole different level.
Cruz as in like Tom Cruise?
Kruse, Kruse.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to look him up. Saifuddin's brother is also a doctor. He's starting to post on Twitter a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Patrice O'Neill. Has he passed away?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. So let's go to screen. I don't know if you can see it. It should pop up.
Yeah. Here he is, the legend.
With relationships.
Yeah.
So, it's in French because I'm based in Switzerland
Yeah, but
by
it's
default.
okay.
So, an American actor, he's known for his comedy career and his regular appearances on the talk show Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn, and in the show Opie and Anthony.
Yeah, I mostly listen to him from his show, the Black Phillip Show.
Okay. So tell me about this. Okay, because I don't know if I'm being like stereotypical or ignorant or I don't want to use the R word, but how do you from Belgium stumble across Patrice O'Neill, who's from New Jersey, based on his wiki, and appreciate his comedy? Like, what makes him funny?
It's just he can say the truth in a funny way, and that's what I appreciated about him. But I'm gonna give a shout out to my best friend Stacking Beats on Nostr. Like he's a guy that got me into all of these things. Like he had a lot of free time and he used it well. And yeah, I just pick up what he recommends. Like I also do my own due diligence and question things, but yeah, he's mostly right with everything.
Stacking beats. Okay, so what relationship advice have you gotten from Patrice O'Neill? I'm almost afraid to ask, but
Yeah, the thing is, I kind of dismissed the guy in the beginning because when I was listening to him, it was just, yeah, like I don't, yeah, it's not to offend people or anything, but it was for me like, yeah, this is just a pimp talking about his bitches, but it's really a lot more than that. Like, he really gives, mainly for men, the best advice to be more confident.
oh, okay.
Like what I learned from Patrice is whatever you do, it has to be righteous. Like it has to be what you want to do. If your partner asks you something and you don't want to do it and you still do it, like female nature will pick up on it and they will disrespect
We'll smell
you.
blood.
I know, yeah, it's not the best guy to give advice to women, but yeah.
I smell a weakness. Let's move in for the kill.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, but it's just human nature. It's just how we are built. It's the same with snakes. Like if you want to handle snakes, if you're confident and you just grab the snake will not do anything. But if you're a bit hesitant or doubtful, the snake will bite. And I consider it like the same principle a bit.
It is human nature. Wait until you have kids. If
I
you think
know.
that that's the case with women, wait until you have children. As soon as they smell that you're tired, that you're not quite like, Mom, can I eat? My daughter's never said this, but it's just an example. Can I eat an entire chocolate cake? If you're doing something else and you're only half listening and you're like, oh, well, it's over. You have to be very decisive. You need firm boundaries. Otherwise, it's over. You will not win, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And they test your boundaries all the time.
Yeah,
All the time.
The funny thing is, for me, I totally agree, but you can change the word children with women also. Yeah, sorry. It's just how it is. Like, I don't know.
I would say some men are like that too. Actually, let's have an open and frank like exchange without. I'm not offended. I hope you're not offended,
No,
but
no, no.
I feel like some men are the same as well. Obviously, not my husband, or else he wouldn't be my husband. Like finding the right person took me like a lot of time and stuff. But I feel that like when you give freely to someone, it's not always received as, oh, this is nice, take it for what it is and like move on. Sometimes it's seen as an invitation to try to take as much as possible from you. And I've had the experience with women and with men as well.
Yeah, the thing is, if you have that behavior with certain men, I don't consider them real men.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion, like the real men are the stoic ones, the ones that don't get emotional too fast and yeah, don't lash out too fast. And yeah, like you said, you need to put boundaries, and the men that don't put boundaries, like yeah, they're more on the feminine side. Like I also used to be like that. I was constantly making the same mistakes, and Patrice was excellent in explaining like this is why your relationships are ending badly. And I learned when I was being more righteous and putting up boundaries more, like it only helped my relationship so far.
I can say personally, so we're meeting for the first time, but I haven't dated that many guys before getting married, but just in the process of getting to know guys in the past, I can say that when I came across a man who had very firm boundaries, who wasn't argumentative. I know a lot of men say that women are argumentative, but there are guys out there who are argumentative. And it's like, for me, it was like an immediate turnoff because, like, what's your problem? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need to justify yourself to me or to anyone? But the guys, it's true that were quiet, consistent, showed an interest, but not too much of an interest. You know what I mean? Like those are the types of guys that I found most attractive. And I think that probably unconsciously I saw them as like a type of security. You know, like when things get really tough, they're not going to like panic and like go crazy and stuff. They're there to like hold things down, you know, to like ground me and like my future family so that we can like sort through it, figure out what the problem is, find the solution and keep living. So I hear that.
Yeah, I'm happy you're so open and honest about it because you're really spot on. Like it's not easy for me to say, but I was a bit more simpier in my past
Oh dear.
relationships. Like if my girlfriend asked me to do anything, even if I didn't want to, I just did it. Because yeah, you care and you love your partner, but it's really not the best way to go. Maybe it will go well for a while, but after a while they will just lose respect.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said before, it's human nature. With kids, it's even worse. Like,
Yeah, not many people want to hear it or want to accept that fact, but when I evaluated everything that happened with relationships in my life, it's hard to deny it.
yeah, yeah, I've been down that road. Like I said before, weak boundaries, and it's funny because I did like in the executive realm, like leadership courses and stuff, and it's ironically, I find that this is going to sound really weird, but understanding a little bit more about Bitcoin, rules with no rulers, boundaries that cannot be hijacked, if you will. Yeah, you can't change it. It helped me to appreciate the power of boundaries from a different perspective, and then that rolled over into discipline and consistency. And these are the types of things, again, going back to low time preference, like you can, I don't know, post something that's extraordinary and make yourself look good, but all of the work it takes to build up to that, you know what I mean? Like you cannot replicate that. It's really like a chain with work behind it. And so with Bitcoin, I think a lot of this stuff made sense for me and it helped me personally to improve on my boundaries, to say no, which was something that I had an issue with. Now I throw out no's far more frequently than I used to, but they all tie together in that sense. And yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with me. Like before Bitcoin, I hardly said no to many things. Like if people asked my help, I was always the one they could count on to say yes. But now I'm like, yeah, this is not worth my time. Like, fuck it, I'm not gonna do this. I have better things to do. And it's also the same people that then realize, I not realize, but it's also the same people that start to respect you more suddenly.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, they always say leadership is lonely. And I know it sounds very pretentious, especially when you're a pleb just trying to stack as many stacks as possible. It sounds pretentious to say that you're a leader. But in a sense, I think a lot of us within our peer groups, we're still amongst the first to be open to Bitcoin and to speak about it and try to like incorporate aspects of like, I guess, the Bitcoin ethos into our lives. And so like on our sort of individual level within our circles, we are kind of leaders. And so it does feel lonely at times.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So what do you eat on a typical day with the carnivore diet?
Yeah, I started today with 3 eggs. Then, yeah, the thing is with carnivore, most people eat like 1 or 2 times a day, but I still eat like 5 times. Like I started with eggs now. I might eat some meat after we done this podcast. Then maybe a few hours later, I will eat meat again. And then in the evening, I will eat some cream cheese, like a yogurt. And yeah, that's about it, I think.
Nice. Nice,
Like
nice.
it's mostly eggs, mince meat, and cream cheese every day. Every day the same thing.
And you feel good.
I feel great, yeah.
Yeah. And you're like courageous enough to be on a podcast with someone that you met on Nostr just through messaging.
Yeah, I'm still nervous doing these things. Like I'm sweating a lot now because I don't want to come over as a dumbass, but it's starting to feel a bit more comfortable now, yeah.
That too shall pass. Shall pass.
Shall
Sorry.
pass.
When I first started, I did a podcast that was voice only, and I drove my car very far away, like on the countryside, and I hid under the steering wheel because I was just like very nervous and sweaty and everything. And with time, now I think maybe I get too comfortable and I say things that maybe I shouldn't say, but like with time and practice, you'll be, super comfortable.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about my loans and my marriage and all those things on your podcast. Like, if I'm gonna hold back things, then it's just the same Bitcoin podcast you'll hear. Like, sometimes it's nice to hear the crazy ones talk and hear the
Yeah.
crazy stories. At least it could be a bit entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. And it's real too. A lot of people go through this, and I think that there may be a bit of shame attached to it, especially if the loans don't work out or your marriage doesn't work out. So to hear someone else talk about their experience really helps.
Yeah, at least you know you're not the only one that's experiencing some hardship.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
even with all my hardships and all the sets I lost, like it only made me better and more humble. Like it really made me grow, so I don't regret doing anything. Like also spending my Bitcoin, at least I did it doing things I enjoyed, and it gave me some nice memories. So, but sometimes I'm still driving in my car and I just start crying like, oh, I could have had so much more.
I'm not gonna lie, like I think about that a lot, making mistakes, taking out a loan. I can't do that because that's on me. That's like I couldn't. So brave, good for you. So we're gonna wrap up.
You still couldn't do it?
Take out a loan for Bitcoin?
Yeah.
No.
Why
No,
not?
no. Well,
Like if people take loans for cars, like just instead of buying a car, just get some extra stats.
so I grew up with a very specific view of credit. My dad used to say to me, if you can't pay it outright, you can't afford it. And that's something that's really stuck with me. I'm stubborn. So I say that, like there's a mortgage on our home, but my car I bought in 2012, no credit. like nothing.
Okay,
You know what
okay.
I mean? And I still drive the same car. Sure, I'll use my credit card to make small purchases and stuff, but it's just out of convenience more than anything else. And besides that, I can't. And I know that I probably could have made a lot of profit, so to speak, had I used leverage, but it's just, I'm stubborn and it's just against my value to do that. So I don't, I
Yeah,
can't.
with me, I also look at it like this way. It's just a way to kill fiat faster and get to my freedom faster. So I don't
Yeah.
really consider it a bad thing. But yeah, before I wasn't, because I didn't finish school and I worked shitty jobs, I didn't really like saving was a waste of time. So I always
Yeah.
took out loans, and mostly it was just to buy cars,
Yeah.
which is a very bad investment. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I really don't have a problem getting loans to buy Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's also like a screw you to the banks. Like, yeah, you're giving me cheap ass money to so I can get rid of your system faster.
Yeah. I hear that. And if like power to you, it's like Michael Saylor with MicroStrategy. So when he, I guess, first announced his Bitcoin play, maybe in 2020 or 2021, I thought, coming from a business background, I was like, wow, he's got balls. Like in the corporate world, to do that so openly and so aggressively, it is just, you know what I mean? Like we talk about being ostracized from our friend group. Like there you have a bunch of like, CEOs, wannabe CEOs, aspiring people who play the game to climb the ladder, looking at him like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like you've just killed your reputation. But so I thought he was like really courageous, had balls, displaying excellent leadership skills. But now I'm like, okay, so I understand he is profiting from the infinite money glitch.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows that, his operating business, MicroStrategy, his AI software company, has nowhere close to the cash flows necessary in order to cover interest on the debt. And so he knows that he can tap into this market, a bunch of customers who can't get exposure to Bitcoin because of the 60/40 rule, because of so many other things. He knows he can tap into them and keep getting either equity, like sell shares, or keep getting people to buy his bonds or convertible bonds or whatever. So he's going for it. And that takes, again, a lot of balls. I could never do that ever because, one thing goes wrong and you can't make those payments, then, like, again, will you have to sell your Bitcoin?
Yeah, the thing is, you don't really have to sell it. You just have to make sure they don't find it. But I have to say, like, Michael Saylor was the guy that got me to get a loan. Like, in the beginning, when my buddy was letting me listen to Michael Saylor, I was like, what a cult leader is this guy? Like, he's
Yeah.
insane. And then when I got my orange pill moment, I was like, yeah, I was falling asleep with Michael Saylor. Like, you have like the videos on
The
YouTube. Like,
traders love the vol.
yeah, but,
There is no second best.
yeah, yeah. Like on YouTube, you can find like 12-hour long videos about Michael Saylor talking about Bitcoin, and I was falling asleep with that. And then, yeah, very
Wow.
shortly, I was like, yeah, I'm getting a loan.
Wow. Okay, so anyone watching or listening to this is not financial advice.
No, no, no,
Do
no.
not listen to Michael Saylor and get a loan and buy Bitcoin and get wrecked. Not financial advice whatsoever. We're just sharing experiences.
Yeah, yeah.
So Michael Saylor is legendary. Okay, so this is the other thing, talking about men and women. Men are very tribal. And once you guys find a leader that you think is a good leader, you are like dedicated and loyal, unless that leader does something totally horrible.
Yeah, with me, I don't have heroes or leaders. I just appreciate the knowledge they give. Like I already learned not to have heroes because they will always disappoint you, even the best, even the ones with good intentions.
Yeah. 'Cause
So
we're all
it's
human.
really all about the knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully the knowledge that Sailor has imparted on so many people works out for them. But I'm risk averse. Taking out a loan to buy Bitcoin is like,
Yeah, for me it really didn't seem like a bad idea. But this is not financial advice.
so would you ever use your Bitcoin as collateral for a loan?
I would say if I have to, maybe, but if I can just stack hard enough and live on a Bitcoin standard in a few years, then I will just go by that way. Like the problem is once you start exchanging Bitcoin for fiat, like they want to tax you on it, and I don't want to pay taxes on my loans on my Bitcoin that I got a loan for. Like I already paid so much interest on it, I don't feel like I should pay anything else on it.
Oh, yeah. So in Belgium, you've got the capital gains taxes then.
I really don't know how the regulation is here. Like I just try to keep everything under the radar.
You're lucky because not too many people listen to this podcast, so you're safe.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, if they come to me and they want to tax me on my Bitcoin, I'm like, yeah, prove that I have Bitcoin. Like I will just say, yeah, I lost it in a boating accident, or somebody stole it, or I don't know what.
Yeah, because I mean, and plus we as Bitcoiners, we talk a lot of shit. Like we say things, but we don't actually, do anything. So there's no Bitcoin. So we're going to wrap up the interview portion before we do the 21 questions. Okay. HODL Harry, if there is a person like you listening, what advice would you give to them? Or let's say there's someone who, is in a relationship and they're not sure what to do and stuff. What advice would you give to them?
Yeah, depending on what problem they have, like if it's relationships, like check Patrice O'Neill out. If it's health, yeah, check out Jack Cruz and stop eating seed oils. And yeah, if you have money issues, then maybe learn a bit about Bitcoin.
Definitely.
And then, if you want to surround yourself with intelligent and awesome people, then go on Nostr.
And where can people find you on Nostr?
I can give my AMP up maybe after the podcast, but if you search HODL Harry, you'll find me on Nostr like that.
Awesome. And I'll include your NPub in the show notes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keys. Yeah. Man like quakes. Man like who? Yeah. Takes her Bitcoin off exchanges under self-custody. She runs her own node, providing liquidity. Yeah, she got her own keys. She got her own keys. She got her own keys. Yeah, she got her own keys. 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 Yeah, she got her own keys.